So after Jordan, we kind of did this backwards. We went over and talked to Alyssa. So we recorded that before interviewed Chris, but we released the videos in a different order.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
So then we talked. I'm skipping around, Joe. I'm going to Alyssa.
Yep, go for it.
It was very, very interesting.
No, Chris was released on episode 10.
Not on Facebook because I missed the release.
Oh, well, it was on YouTube. Okay. I thought I did this real easy so you could just follow what I did.
Oh you did, but I can't schedule it out as far on Facebook. Another takeaway I've learned.
Okay.
So when we interviewed Alyssa, I was not super interested in daycare, right? Like her actual business is just not there for me. But I thought it was very, very interesting that she started the business at such a young age during the pandemic, and has made it work. That was so kind of eye-opening on timing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was right during Rona that she started. That's rough. That is rough.
Yeah, being in your early 20s, starting a very labor-intensive business, reliant on many other, employees to make a go of it at that scale,
and having virtually no help from the significant other.
Yes. Yep. Because like he wasn't doing anything there.
Not interested. No. Although it's probably better that he didn't help because it would have probably just been more work.
Or they'd have a lot less customers.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's funny.
But it was very eye-opening.
Dan almost just about as long. That's Alyssa's husband.
Well, I think you might have been right the first time.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. But we've known him almost as long as we've known Jordan. And Dan has been fun for a long time. Then he got old, and I don't know what's happened to him now. But now he's got to go to Easter things, and he can't hang out with us at all. And he's just watching the kids.
I'm pretty sure, though, at the Easter things, people are mistaken, him not as dad of the kids. They're like, hey, Grandpa. And he's like, whoa. So he's getting pretty gray, Joe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I am too. So I don't know why you're not gray at all. But I've been getting pretty gray too. That's why I shaved it all off again.
Yeah, but you can rock a unicorn.
Yep. This is not gray at all, though. There's no gray here. It's beautiful. This is the only good part of my hair. It's almost gone.
If you dye that, you can save some money if you just keep that.
I'm gonna. Cullen has a track meet tomorrow. I'm gonna dye it, and then I'm gonna get some lights to string up around it, and it'll be it'll be beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yep.
But back to Alyssa, she really kind of proved the concept that timing doesn't always matter. Like, it's important, but it's not a complete barrier to entry. It's more of an excuse that we try to tell ourselves. Yes. Like, oh, it's not the right time to have kids. It's not the right time to start a business. It's not the right time. There isn't excuses. A perfect time. Just do it. Right. You figure it out as you go.
Yep. Yep. The perfect time is the time that you thought, oh, maybe I should do this. There it is. That's the time.
Yeah. What's that Mark Twain quote? The best time to buy real estate was last year. The next best time is today. So you should just buy it. It's not going to go back down in price. Same thing with a business. Every month, week, year you're losing opportunities to grow that business, to learn something, to set yourself up. So that was pretty wide awake. Wouldn't be fair to Hope if I didn't mention it, but Alyssa was also the second person that didn't give any credit to her husband. Now, I don't know if Dan does do anything or to help at all with the business, but she gave no credit.
He's claimed he doesn't, and she's claimed he doesn't, and she's claimed she doesn't want it.
Yes.
Loud. That is funny.
But I mean, even when we talked to you at first, Joe, you gave credit to Angela about taking care of the kids and helping at home. So I don't know if Dan.
And yeah, well, and she started almost every one of the businesses she's helped me start. Got them going.
Yeah.
We just kept shooting kids out, so she's got a lot on her plate.
Yeah. So it's just funny. I'm not throwing all the females in the world out to dry here, but maybe give some credit. Give some credit out there, girls. What was your kind of biggest takeaway? Because I know we talked about some stuff with Alyssa about government funding and some grants and some backing, and I know your personal viewpoint on some of that stuff is pretty negative.
They're negative because I don't think they're the best thing for the individual. Although I also don't like, some of the low income stuff and all that, but I also took advantage of that when I was young and I needed it. So like there's a reason and a time and a place for things. The SBA comes with so many hooks they tie into you, right? And if you're okay living with that, like okay. But the SBA loans, I don't like them. I've looked into them and read through them all and looked at the fine print, and it's kind of like selling your soul, but it's the soul of your business, and then your soul comes with that. They're both kind of intermingled. So I don't know. Hopefully everything goes well and nothing bad comes of it. But you do what you do to get by, right? And that's what they found to do, and that's what. I mean, the SBA was originally created to be a help to people to start businesses.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's supposed to be for. But I don't know. I think big government just takes everything and corrupts it. So
is there an alternative, like private solution that you know of that would help people in a similar way, or not really, other than taking on investors?
Well, that is what that is. I mean, the SBA is your investor. The SBA you've signed papers agreeing that SBA is going to be paid back with interest. They also have full control over your business if you decide to go against the health department or blah, blah, blah. You go down the list of all the people that you've got to listen to now. That's the biggest problem with that. Like, yes, investors is the thing, and it's the only thing there is. There's either you do it all by yourself or you get an investor. An investor can be a bank. An investor can be the Small Business Association. An investor could be a random guy on the street. An investor could be some big guy that does angel funding and does all those kind of things. Shark Tank is an investing program. Like, you can do all those things. All of them would be ways of getting funding. In the end, the daycare is hard. You can't really start. You can start in your house though, I suppose, but you can't really start with one and then work your way into it before you get into a big thing. You kind of just have to jump into it and hope that it works. And I've not done many of those businesses. So some of that funding and some of that, I just self-fund all of mine. I've never taken a small business loan or any of that. So I've not used it, but I've gotten bank loans, and I know when you get, I bought a lot of stuff from people that took SBA or high interest or hard money lending is a big thing. And like, I've gotten a lot of properties from deals like that went bad. So it just doesn't sound like a good thing to be doing.
Yeah, I'm always cautious when people start talking about hard money lending, because the interest rates are ridiculous, and then you got to buy extra points, and you got weird payoff terms. It's like, if I can't get a traditional credit union to give me a loan on this, maybe I just save a little more money before I get going. But
yep.
Yeah, I've never started a daycare though, so I don't know what how intense the capital startup is and what's needed there and to get that going. And I assumed it was quite high.
Well, it's mostly building. That building is a big expense, right? That the staff is a big expense. The rest of it is minimal compared to those things. And I was working on starting a daycare up on one of my buildings in Merrill. It ended up falling through, but we went through all the paperwork and all the rigmarole to get it all figured out. And it's a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot of regulation. Now, if the kids are older, there's almost none, but it's the little kids that it's nuts.
Yeah. Well, and regulation equals expense.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
So then we went over back to the middle of the state and we talked to somebody that I didn't even know that it was a thing. Chris, about video games and his startup and him getting his personal game off the ground. And of all places, middle of Wisconsin, video game programmer, didn't see that coming. Didn't even register that was a career opportunity. And I guess that was pretty kind of a slap in the face for my assumptions that opportunities exist regardless of location, kind of like Alyssa with timing. You know, Chris is going against the norm of, hey, I can do it here. I can do it from anywhere. So he didn't let the fact that he's living in middle of Wisconsin nowhere stop him from going after what he wants to go after.
Well, in fact, he didn't start doing it until he moved to little Podunk, Wisconsin, and he wanted to keep doing his thing. So, yeah.
Yeah,
we'll see,
that was
though. Chris has got some cool stuff, and he's getting some good feedback, but he's got to deliver that stupid game. It's coming, but man, it takes so long. And I should know that, but
it does. And you know, the soul of an artist, it's never good enough.
Right. Exactly.
It's not quite it.
Yep.
That's what the beta's for. And then the upgrade 1.1 and version 1.7 and 1.9, it's never going to be exactly what you want. Just, but yeah, he's got to let the kid fly out of the nest. What, and again, you know, you've probably talked to Chris a few times about it. What kind of hurdles or takeaways or kind of like, oh crap, did you get from that with Chris, or what would you hope somebody took away from that interview?
Well, I think you touched on it already, just pulling out of the big video game makers and doing it yourself. Like, it's pretty cool that there's an example of someone trying it, right? I really hope that he is successful on that and that this thing goes good and does what he's hoping it would, because then that makes opportunities for more and more game developers, especially in this area. Like, I think Chris is probably going to hire more people and bring more people on if this game is a success, and they're going to start building more games. And then, you know, it could be the next Dudley Tower is going to be Chazzik Games. You know, that'd be sweet. I went to Austin recently, and all of the high rises there are all tech companies, right? Austin's a big tech capital, and it wasn't 50 years ago.
I don't think it was 20 years ago.
Exactly. It's recent. It's new. It's probably 20 because we're old now. So it's probably happening when we were little. So that's like, that's 40 years. But I think that if he's, successful, a different type of industry, that's an industry that most people want to get into now. You can work from home. You can sit in your pajamas the whole day and still get all your stuff done. Like, that's fun. I don't know. There's a lot of opportunity there. It's also a big challenge. Lots of money in it if you can make it happen, and a lot of time and energy into it if it doesn't. So that's a hard one. That one, he's invested a ton of money. Time equals money, and are we looking at a year or two? It's hard. That's probably the hardest business startup that I've ever heard of.
Well, and I think it's cool he's found the platforms like Steam and Xbox and some of those to get the game out, because I know that seem to be, or I would have assumed that would have been the biggest hurdle, because you can put all that money into it if you don't have a distributor or
Yep.
can't get it out there. But I think some of those platforms have kind of done to video games what YouTube has done for musicians. It's given them a place to kind of get their own stuff out there and let the market decide, which is, that's got to be nerve wracking as you're building that game.
Well, and nobody, I mean, people talk about, oh, it's going to take 5 years to, I've never followed that philosophy, but Chris is in one of those things of like, you've brought no money in yet because you don't have a game out there yet. So you're operating all on savings, hoping that this is going to happen, and indicators are good, everything's looking good, but until that deal drops, man, that's hard. I know people right now that are starting a business that they're worried that their $300 check is going to take 2 weeks to come.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but that's $300 that, and that's already profit. Chris is sitting there for 2 years with no real idea whether a check is ever going to come or not before he executes and does it. And like, it's hard. That's a big commitment. I don't know that I would be able to do that.
Yeah. It's the mental fortitude and the commitment and confidence in himself. That's awesome. That is just outstanding to be that confident in your abilities and your idea to keep moving forward with it.
And we all say this high risk, high reward. There's a potential video games make billions of dollars every year. Maybe it's trillions now. I don't know. But hopefully he'll tap into that. High risk, high reward, right? That's the goal.
Yeah, for some, not me. I like mid risk, mid reward stuff. So I enjoyed a lot learning and talking to somebody who isn't like me in that regard. So that was very interesting and fun. And that day we went over and talked to Travis, which was our second non-business owner. Kind of, we touched a little bit on his personal business. Excuse me. I found some of the stuff Travis was talking about just absolutely fascinating. I thought it was so cool how his passion drove him into a career, and no matter what twists and turns, he always seemed to get back to that same general career. Because being a chef in Wisconsin isn't always the easiest thing. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy anywhere, but there's not a lot of huge opportunity for high paying, life-changing careers or positions within the chef industry or the food service industry. And he's been able to, make a real go of it, teaching people and doing that custom one-off dinners. And that's so outside the box. That's awesome. That is such a cool way to look at, and make a go of something that a lot of people wouldn't even, well, there's no future in that. I can't do that. He's been able to create his own future.
Well, and I talked to Travis and Noah about that. And I mean, I think they would make more money if they only did that than anything else they're doing. Mm-hmm. They're pretty high demand. They are pretty, everybody knows, or anybody that would want that service knows them. Mm-hmm. And has probably been to one of their events or parties or whatever. And, they're really good at what they do there, but they don't want it to be a business. They do it for fun, for enjoyment. They make some money, but they don't want that to be I've literally talked to, like, dude, I'll help you do this. Like, let's make it happen. Oh, no. We don't want to do that. We enjoy the parties we do, and that's what we want to do. That's how they give back. That's how they help. That's pretty cool. It's a different mindset. I wouldn't be doing that. I would be capitalizing on it, right? Or maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. But from right now thinking about it, I probably would.
Well, and Travis has also been kind of bit a few times, doing the chef thing full time and doing all that
for other people.
Yeah, yep. But if he found that outlet for his passion in the teaching,
yeah,
that's great. Good for him. But I lean towards you as well. Like, I see a huge opportunity that could be a write your own ticket type of business to work as much as you wanted, doing what you enjoyed. But playing in a kitchen funded by the tech school system and a butcher shop funded by the tech school system, that's got to be kind of fun too. Yeah. Like all the fancy toys.
And getting to design it all and being in charge of how it all happened. Like, it's kind of your thing, but you didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah, and you don't have to maintain it. You don't have to hire the maintenance guy. You just get to use it. You get to share that passion with others, like-minded individuals, and make a pretty good living doing it. So Travis's perspective on some of that stuff was very interesting because, again, it's not like mine. And I find that when I talk to people that maybe don't share the same outlook, it's the most rewarding conversations that I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially his views on whole pig bacon. I think I'm going to convince him. One day he is going to make the jump, and he's going to be like, yep, best thing we ever did.
I mean, I think you should trademark that now before
probably already trademarked.
Before Travis secretly jumps on the bandwagon and comes up with it,
No, I don't mind. I'm happy for him to take it from me and run with it. I would then get to say I told you so forever.
Yeah, and whole pig bacon would be a thing in existence, so that's also a win.
It's both a win, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
The other thing that sticks out in my head is when he said bacon tastes like dead pig. Because he was very particular on the brand of bacon that he likes. Because every other bacon tastes like dead pig. And I was like, or dead old pig. And I was like, wasn't that what it is? Like,
it is, yes. But it tastes good.
I thought that's what we were going for, Travis.
Yep.
Dead pig.
I've never eaten a live one. I wonder if the live version of bacon tastes better than the dead version.
You got a couple of experimental subjects out at the farm.
Yeah, we could cut some off of one and eat it right there, see if it's good.
You could. Good luck. They're big pigs.
Yeah. Nasty.
And we're an hour and 8 minutes into this right now, so I don't know if
Travis boy, you better wrap it up. Nobody's gonna listen to this. It's too long.
We still got three more.
Okay.
Adam at Little River. I love the fact that Adam left a very high-paying, substantial career in with a major company, Pepsi, and took a chance on himself, kept the family business going. And again, at the worst time ever, COVID, turned out to be a pretty good time for golf courses. But between him taking that chance and when he said that he's at the course or at the club 15 to 20 hours a day, like, that was awesome. Like, he loves it. He's there by choice, not because he has to. I totally agree with that. I think when you dive into something and you're passionate about it, it's working that much isn't always a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's that whole sharpen the axe analogy, right? I like a lot of things, but 15 hours a day for an extended period of time, it can destroy you, right? A lot of people stop doing things because they burn themselves out so fast, right? So there is, as long as he wants to be there and he doesn't have to be there, but I don't necessarily think I got the impression that he didn't have to be there. I think he's still building it and doing things, and there's a whole bunch of things he wants to do, and he's there to get those things done. I don't think he's got it optimized the way he wants it yet, so that he can just walk away and come back and it's just working. But like you said, I don't know that he wants to do that either, because he does enjoy what he's doing, at least now, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I would be willing to guess that half of the time he spends there is literally talking to members, guests who are eating.
Yeah.
It's that he is part of it, and he truly enjoys that side of it. It's not the nitty gritty of sitting down doing books or working with employees or putting out food. He's enjoying his time with the customers, and that might always be there for him.
Yep. The like when I was starting my some of my stuff, I would work 80, 90, 100 hours a week, but I knew there was an end to that in sight, and I was happy. Like, I enjoyed doing the things I was doing, sort of, but it wasn't something that, like, if I were to have, when I thought through a lot of these things, and if I were to have to do this, like if I were to have to meet tenants every week, every day, and sign leases, I just really, I didn't, that wouldn't have been enjoyable. I needed to do something more different than that, right? Either have less apartments or have someone to help me with them, right? And we went the opposite, we went the help with it way and kept growing. And I super enjoyed, like, if I were to just spend time growing a business, I think I could do the same thing that he's doing with what he's doing. But boy, doing the nitty gritty, even talking to customers, I can be really good at it, but at the end of an hour or 2 hour meeting with a customer, I need to lay down and take a nap because it has sucked all the life out of me. And I think Adam was different than that. I think, like you said, when he talks to people, I think that gives him more energy versus taking it away from him, which is, I wish I had that sometimes, but I don't. And so to that, I think you're right. He probably does really get a lot out of those aspects.
Yeah. And it was fun to see the scale of the brick and mortar and his businesses, and the way that he's more of a traditional business than a startup or some of the others that we've talked to too. Like our next guest, Ed. Ed is not a very non-traditional business, very much in the startup phase of that business. And he turned.
I'm not fully convinced that Ed has a business. I think it's kind of just what Ed does all the time, and now he's making money doing it. And I don't know if that qualifies or not. It's an income stream, but I'm not, I don't know. I guess the selling stuff online definitely would hit that business aspect, but I don't think, and Ed said this, he didn't start a business. He just started doing stuff and started posting videos, right? And that's what he ended up with. But yeah.
I think the selling of the stuff is probably the most, that and marketing, right? Selling sponsorships and some of that. Definitely have that business take on it. But I think it's pretty cool how he turned being a cheap dad into a revenue stream, a business, whatever you want to call it. That's awesome. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how and watch him progress in going through, maybe turning it into a business, maybe keeping it the same. Like what that'll look like in 3 years, 5 years, whatever that is. So that'll be very interesting for me. It was very shocking, I guess, or surprising to me. Business was almost like a dirty word talking to Ed. He didn't want it, like, and I understand it. Yeah, he didn't want to talk about the money. He didn't want to talk about the revenue. He really wants to focus on that service and that community aspect of it, and that's wonderful. I hope he hires the person that can talk about the business and can do some of that for him, so he can keep that if that's what he wants. Because I think he's pretty dang close to being able to do that if he wants to.
Yep. Yeah, it sounds like it to me. And I think the only thing that has been holding Ed back from those things is just him not wanting to commit to doing that. Like he likes how things are rolling, and
Yep.
great. I mean, if that's what he wants, okay. But I think he will be better served if he were to take it and go to that next step. And there's going to be some costs and some extra headaches and things from it, but in the long run, I think it'll be worth it. And he kind of seems like he's doing that with his lady there, that they're marketing and doing things together, and there's some cool things coming from that too, I think.
Yeah, and I don't know if Christy was the one that is pushing him on the back behind the scenes too to do some of that and treat it more business like. But no matter which direction it goes, if he doesn't want it to be in the nitty gritty of the business, I hope he can find somebody that he can trust to help him with that. Even if that is Christy, and he can keep doing the community service, because you hit on something when we were talking with him, that the money would allow him to do more good.
Yep.
And I hope he thinks about it from that perspective too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not evil. And people think it's evil because they've been burned or they've had a hard go of it or something has happened, where that, or maybe money has been like a vice or an idol in their life, that before it was just the thing, and now they're trying to get that completely out of their life. And to me, it's just it's a tool that we use to do the things that we want to do. And he's using it right now. It's not like he's not using it. So to be mad or angry with it, let that go. Just make as much of it as he can and spend as much of it as he can.
Yeah, and if you spend it on good things for others and yourself, and put yourself in position to help the community and the lakes and the rivers, that's awesome. That means the money wasn't evil then. Now, if you do bad things with it, then there you go. And our last interview was Duplex Joe. Duplex Joe was an interesting interview because it was very short notice. He's the second person that we've interviewed that you or I don't know in some way, shape, or form, or have some sort of personal connection to.
So Ed the diver was one.
Yep.
And Duplex Joe. But you met Duplex Joe at a RIA event, and
yep.
On Tuesday, invited him on the podcast for Thursday. He showed up because I dropped the ball and didn't have anything lined up over on my side.
Well, and the fact that he did it on short notice, no personal connection.
Yep.
Was just interested in the concept. That was awesome. He was a real estate guy, so they're, being a realtor and an investor, and you being big into real estate, it was a very easy conversation, I think, to talk to him. There was a lot to take away from that. There was so much. I think just the fact that he came on to talk to new people was a huge kind of aha moment for me, because he preaches, and a lot of people do, it's get to know people, build relationships, do your thing. And he did that, right? Like, he just met people, talked to him, had a good conversation, and at most it cost him an hour and a half, 2 hours of his day. Yep. So, what were you surprised with in our conversation with Joe?
Most of the stuff that he talked about. So I thought it was really interesting, his website. I've thought about doing what he's done on his website a bunch of times, and I never ended up doing it. I've got a few things that are similar on my website, but he's done a lot more than I have for people to analyze, get tools. I've got a rental analyzer tool, and I've got a rent estimator tool, and I've got guides and tips and thoughts on what I think is a good investment. But, he went a lot farther into that, helping people with a lot of different things. And people think that is like giving away your secret weapon, right? And I think we said this in the interview, but like I think information is always free. And then the use of that information is what either is worth paying for or not, or doing it yourself, right? If I tell you exactly how to dig a hole, right? I tell you, this is exactly what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. This is the equipment I'm going to use. These are some tips and tricks. This is how I do it really efficiently. People are going to be like, man, you come dig my hole. I don't want to dig this hole. You know what you're doing, right? That's generally what I've gotten from the giving away the information for free. And the more information you give away for free, the more people like you, the more people want to give you stuff for free, or better prices or discounts, or just they like you and so they want to do business with you. And I think he's got that nailed down. He's got to decide whether he wants to grow and get bigger, or if he likes what he's doing and wants to stay where he's at. And both are valid, because he seems to be on the path where he's just about built that residual income where he doesn't have to work anymore, doesn't have to go do this or that, and he can now be free to go do whatever he wants. And I think all of us have, when we get to that point, and again, this is my desire, I want to see people get to this point and then see what they choose and help them after that. See and work with them from that. See, helping is the wrong word, but working with them after that point. Like Ben was one of those guys where he did concrete for me for a year, and we talked about it, and I told him take it and run with it and go with it, and he's really taken the business, run with it, and gone with it. But he also has all the passive income in the background too that enables him to do that, right? That I didn't really have anything to do with it, but we still work together, we still meet, we still talk, we still do projects and work together. And that to me is the ultimate level of business and what I'm striving for in everything that we're doing. I want to see people be successful, build financial freedom, and then I want to see what we do from there. Because that to me is the exciting part. That to me is the real creativity, the real wow, where did that come from? How did that happen? And if you look at a lot of these guys, Hope, Chris, a lot of these, the creative things are possible because Chris put a lot of time and made a lot of money doing his other work for a video game company to be able to stop, take some time off, and do this new endeavor, hopefully. And Hope, she does other work, and then she's able to do this stuff on the side, and now she's building it up, and she could probably almost run that, just launch that as a standalone business and work for herself. And that's awesome. Those are the things that's why we do this podcast. We want you to be excited about the boringness of business, the weirdness, the parts that are just, dang it, I don't want to do that anymore. And realize that those are the things that enable you to be able to jump out of a volcano in Pakistan on a surfboard. Okay, I don't know what your dream is. I don't know what it is. That's the best part. I would love to know what that is, to see it, to be a part of it, and to help make some of that stuff happen. I'll buy you the surfboard, okay? But better yet, you'll be like, no way, dude. I got enough money. I'm going to buy my own stinking surfboard. Excellent. That is awesome. Then I'll keep that surfboard, and I'm going to jump out with you.
I think it is cool to talk to people on their journey through that stuff. It's every single person we've talked to, it is a different level in that journey. Some are they're literally only working to help others. Some I have no idea why they're working, because they could be doing literally whatever they wanted. We've talked to a few people like that, and it's very interesting to hear why they did it and how they got there, and show people there's no perfect time, there's no perfect business, and every single person that we have talked to has done some really stupid stuff, made some bad choices, and figured out how to grind through whatever that scenario was and come out better on the other side.
Yep.
And I mean, personally,
kind of a universal formula that everybody does a little bit different, but it's all still done like you said.
Yeah, it follows that. That's been the biggest shock. The pattern. Everybody we've talked to has followed a very predictable outline, I guess you could call it, through the whole process of where they are now.
Yep. And some of them that have embraced certain aspects of business like budgeting or accounting or business planning or things like that, they either do it initially or at the end they start doing it, realizing that they should have done it initially. You know, and there's a whole huge list of those things. Estimating spreadsheets and business predictive tools. Like, this is why we want to know the future, so we create tools that will predict the future, and that lets us make better business decisions. And whether we do that initially or we do it by gut instinct or however we do that, we're all doing it. Like, even like Kyle, you said, oh, I never wrote a budget. Yeah, well, you know what? You've got a budget because you talk about it in your head all the time. You've just been able to do it in your head. You know, not everybody can do it in their head and remember it all, but it's still there. And that's the cool thing. And that's why, look, guys, everybody can start a business. Everybody can do it, but it looks different. But the patterns are all the same.
Yeah, they are.
Kind of weird.
It's creepy. And everything, I think what's cool is everybody we've talked to, the stuff that comes, you know, in conversation, people pay a lot of money to coaches and gurus and spend hours to learn this stuff that everybody here that we've had the pleasure of sitting down with has given away for free.
Mm-hmm.
That blows my mind that there are people that pay for coaching programs and business programs, and I understand it. It helps you hold accountable, all this stuff. We've talked to 14 people, and all that information's been free.
Mm-hmm.
You can shoot us a message on Facebook. You can email us. There's a lot of people in the world that'll help you out for free with information.
So I don't know. Are we wrapping up here? Is this about the end?
I think so.
Okay, because I wanted to throw out a challenge at the end, very similar to what Kyle just said. But my challenge is I want you to start a business. I want you to start a business with the intent of becoming financially independent. And I want you to call us, talk to us, text us, message us, ask us questions. And when you're getting into it, we'd love to have you on the podcast. We'd love to talk to you about it, but we'd also love to help you be successful. So I have a company that helps businesses be successful. We have a lot of things for free, some things that are paid that are helpful. But I really like talking to people about starting their business and helping them get the stuff together. So my challenge is start a business, tell us about it, and if you want some help, let us help you.
Yeah, I like that, Joe. I really do. And if you don't feel confident dropping it in the comments on one of our platforms, shoot us an email. Let us know what you're thinking. If you
looks like Kyle froze up a little bit here.
Think somebody that you know. But share this with them. Give them the information. What's the best email to shoot this at? I don't remember which one we were using.
I don't know if we had one. Mine's quantsjp@gmail.com.
Yeah, or
QUANCEJP@gmail.com. I don't think we have a Small Towns Big People email yet.
I don't think so either. Or you Kyle.mcdonald76@gmail. But shoot the email in, hit us on Messenger, whatever works best for you. That'd be awesome to help somebody through that process.
Well, thanks again for listening, guys. This is a recap video. We're actually surprised that it's been a year. It doesn't seem like a year, and I think everybody that does this says that kind of thing. So it's actually true. It goes really fast. So we're hoping to continue this next year, and we'll be making improvements over time as things go. But if you got some suggestions, let us know. Love to hear about it.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the links for our guests in the comments section on YouTube and Facebook. Drop a like, follow, comment, share with somebody. If you have questions, make sure to ask. We're always here to help. And remember, friends don't let friends suck.